Section 2. You will hear a presentation on tips about managing money. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 20. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 20. Welcome everyone. My name is Derek Palmer and I'm here to give you some tips about managing your money. It is worth making a little effort to keep your financial affairs in good shape. Keep your money under control and you can concentrate on the real business of studying and living here. Here are 2 basic tips for managing your finances. First, make full use of banking facilities. Once you have opened a bank account, you can ask the bank's financial advisors to help you decide how to manage your money. You can use your bank account to pay your regular bills, such as electricity, gas and telephone by direct debit or by standing order, on a regular basis. The financial advisors can help you to organize a budget account to pay regular bills or help you to deal with any periods when you might need an overdraft facility. If you have a financial sponsor, make sure you find out from them exactly when the money will become available to you and how much there will be. You can also use checks to pay for goods and services. With banking becoming organized more and more on an international basis, you may also find that you can use the cash card you have in your own country to draw money from your home account while you are here. Cards carrying signs such as Cirrus or Maestro may have this facility. Ask your home bank about this before you leave to ensure that you bring the right cards with you. Second, deal with financial problems promptly. Monitor your account in the UK carefully and make sure you do not overdraw. Or, if you have arranged an overdraft, make sure you do not go over the amount you agreed with the bank. If you do run into any money problems, take the initiative and sort them out quickly. Do not risk going into debt or falling behind with your rent. Problems may arise. For example, if there is a sudden change in the political situation in your country, if there are unexpected delays in transferring your money, or if your personal circumstances change. For example, your accommodation arrangements, your marital status. In these situations, do not be tempted to borrow money. Instead, get advice from a reliable source. Start by meeting with the student counselor at your college or university. He or she can tell you what to do about paying your tuition fees and whether there are any college funds or charitable trusts that might be able to help you. If you are building up debts on credit cards or rent arrears, debt counseling may be available at your institution. If the problems are caused by political situations or changes in foreign exchange, ask your embassy for advice. Let's turn to insurance. During your stay, there are 3 types of insurance that you might need. The first is personal property insurance, to cover your possessions against damage or theft. If possible, try to arrange this in your own country before you come to the UK. The second is medical insurance, to cover your medical bills. You may prefer to arrange this in advance. The third is motor insurance. You must have this if you want to drive a car or ride a motorcycle here. For each type, there are many different insurance policies available, so look around until you find one that meets your needs, including your budget. You will find a range of insurance companies listed in your local telephone directory, and your bank or building society may also be able to offer you an insurance policy. Many insurance companies have special policies for students. Ask the welfare advisor at your college or university for advice. Make sure that you understand all the conditions before you agree to a policy. When you are considering a particular policy, ask yourself some questions. What will be paid out to me when I make a claim? Some personal property insurance policies, for example, only pay you the second-hand value of your lost possessions. New for old policies will pay you the full cost of replacing the item, but they tend to be more expensive. Are there any conditions attached to the policy? Some medical insurance policies will not cover you for pre-existing medical conditions. that is, conditions you already have, when you take out the policy. Some personal property policies may not cover your possessions if they are taken away from the place where they are normally kept. For example, if you take your CD player to a friend's house, are there any exceptions to the policy? For example, a medical insurance policy may not cover you if you play a dangerous sport. Now let's look at... That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
You will hear a guide giving information about the Wonderland. As you listen, answer questions 11 to 20. First, you will have some time to look at questions 11 to 17. As you listen, answer questions 11 to 17. Section 2. It's nice to see so many of you here. Before letting you roam about on your own, I'm going to give you a brief account about Wonderland, our facilities and activities, and the exhibitions we have coming up. I won't keep you long, okay? For most of what we have to offer here, you can just turn up with your party. There are a couple of activities which we ask you to book a week in advance. We only have artists that you can watch sculpturing at certain times, so we need notice of your coming for that. Another activity requiring at least 7 days' notice is the dance workshop. Again, it's a question of organising the staff at this end. But the video, you work yourself, so that's available any time. Another activity which you take part in is the Stars Firework Experience. But that's a question of the weather, which of course we can't control. Speaking of weather, we run a reduced range of facilities in the winter months. The cafe and the shop provide welcome shelter from the cold and rain. I'm afraid Jungle Puppet Carnival doesn't run in the winter, so the Fantasyland is closed then. And exotic plants in the greenhouse are kept indoors for warmth during the cold months, so that doesn't operate either. The adventure playground does though. Make sure the children are wrapped up well. Okay, now we run a program of exhibitions through a year, so I'll tell you about the next few. Our current exhibition, Local Lives, ends on 26th August. And then one called Art of Animation starts on the 28th of September. This includes all the important basics of creating animations that dazzle and entertain. We're sure you will love the chance to enliven your design. Next, we're running an exhibition called Dreamy Chocolate Plant, and that will open on the 18th of October. There will be pictures and videos depicting chocolate making process. And there's a chocolate corner for everyone to taste the chocolate from Belgium for free. Following on from that exhibition, we're putting on a show called Dazzling Shine. This starts on the 12th of December and includes hundreds of diamond design photographs. Q&A and prize draws will accompany the show, with the exciting prize of a trip to Europe or a diamond. So, make sure to go to at least one of the exhibitions. Now the guide goes on to show the exact location of some places. Look at the map below and answer the questions 18 to 20. Now listen to the continued talk and answer questions 18 to 20 by completing the map and choosing the appropriate letters. Now, the area occupied by Wonderland is rather large, so I'll just give you a few pointers to help you orientate yourselves. So, whether you come by car or bicycle, you'll come in from the road. Cars then park to the left, through the gate into the car park, and bikes to the right, through the gate opposite to the car park. Cyclists in particular might be thirsty at this point, and you can get a drink from the soda fountain to the north of the bike park, halfway to the museum entrance. You can enjoy your drink in the picnic area, which is opposite the car park. At the far end of the picnic area are the toilets. Always good to know where they are. Now we are standing at the entrance to the main museum. Immediately to our right is the souvenir shop, which sells premium gifts, including coffee mugs, stuffed animals, t-shirts, postcards, handmade collections and other souvenirs. And to the left, by the entry gate, is the ticket office. You won't need that because you've got your group booking. Okay, I'll pause. Are there any questions at this point? If you'd like to come along this way, please, ladies and gentlemen. That is the end of section 2. You will have half a minute to check your answers. You will hear a talk about a charity project. As you listen, answer questions 11 to 20. First, you will have some time to look at questions 11 to 17. As you listen, complete the form. Section 2. Sunwalk Charity. I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to tell you something about the Sunwalk Charity. I'll give a brief overview of what we do, and I hope it will be helpful to you. Sunwalk came into being 13 years ago when just 13 women walked the New York City Marathon to raise money and awareness for cancer. What started out as a one-off fundraising event has blossomed into a thriving multi-million-pound charity, raising to date in excess of $55 million for vital cancer causes. The charity was founded by Nina Barrow in 1996. By 1997, the runs were being filmed by local TV, and today they appear on international TV every year. All the funds collected by Sunwalk go to the hospital, with the idea those fit enough to run use their energy to assist the provision of people who are unwell for whatever reasons. Now, if you want to race, let me explain a couple of basics. You can choose to complete a half marathon, 10-kilometer or 5-kilometer distance. After receiving your entry form, we will then send you all the information you need to start power walking and getting fit. You will also receive a sponsor form to start your fundraising and a safety guide, everything you need to get going. A few weeks before the event, you will receive your hat, t-shirt, and walker number. On the day there will be great music, plenty of fun, and a warm-up before the start. Toilets and water are provided on the route, and a team of smiling faces giving out medals to welcome you home. Small steps make big changes, no matter how small. By aiming to raise a minimum sponsorship of $100, you could be helping us to raise over $500,000 on this one day. Sunwalk will be granting these funds to where we know it will make the most difference to vital cancer causes. Our benefiting charities in the Southwest include Penny Brohn Cancer Care, Bristol Hematology and Oncology Centre, and Western Area Health. We also ask for your commitment to get into training and prepare for the big day. What an exchange! You get fitter, and many, many people who suffer from cancer will benefit from Sunwalk funds. Now the speaker goes on to recommend some good ways of raising money for charity. Look at and answer the questions 18 to 20. Now listen to the continued talk and answer questions 18 to 20 by choosing the appropriate letters. Okay, that's the big race. But I know there are many people who don't feel they are up to running a half-marathon race, but who would nevertheless like to raise money for Sunwalk. Over the years, we've had experience of many different ways to collect money. Some proved to be very successful. Now, of course, 20 kilometers is too much for children. But there was a sponsored dancing performance at the local school last year, and that did very well. People have also tried to organize food-based events, such as selling homemade cookies and jam at the open market. There was a large barbecue arranged in city gardens. Although these events failed to justify the efforts put into them, they were very delicious. These days, so many people are full-time workers, so door-to-door collection isn't very effective. But it's viable to raise funds by selling small promotional items, such as t-shirts with Sunwalk motif and slogan on them. We're currently checking to see if postcards, perhaps showing the race's spectacular scene each year, might also be a good idea or not. We do appreciate the efforts that have gone into selling old bikes, but to be frank, the return has not been very high on this. One very dedicated group organized a prize draw recently, which went very well, and it would be good to see more such activities. There's also been talk of a concert, but we'll see how plans for that progress. Now, are there any questions at this stage? That is the end of section 2. You will have half a minute to check your answers. You will hear a doctor from a medical center giving some information about the center. As you listen, answer questions 11 to 20. First, you will have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. As you listen, answer questions 11 to 14. Section 2. Good morning, everyone. I'm John Smith, the General Practitioner of London Fields Medical Centre, and I'm very glad to give you a brief introduction about our practice and some suggestions about how to see a doctor here. Our receptionists are usually the first point of contact and are here to help you. They have a lot of information to hand, and in most cases will be able to help you with your inquiry, ensuring you see the most appropriate clinician. Okay, right. Well, the first thing to do is to register. We can only accept new patients who live in our practice catchment area. To register with us, you will need 2 proofs of address, such as bank statements or tenancy agreements, plus 1 form of ID, such as passport or driver's license. If you are foreign nationals, then you'll have to register as a temporary visitor. Then, fill in this form. It's a medical history form. You have to give details of any illnesses you have had. Then, you also need to write down if you've got any allergies. Okay? This as well as that. We need to know if you've had any operations. And, last of all, you have to give full details of current medication you may be on. This as well as that. You need to fill in this registration card. This is for your personal details. That's your full name, address, and telephone numbers. Okay? And we also need to make an appointment for you to see the doctor for a new patient health check. It'll just take about 15 minutes, that's all. It's just a basic checkup, really. Before the speaker goes on with his introduction, look at questions 15 to 20. Now listen to the continued talk and answer questions 15 to 20 by choosing the appropriate letters. Okay then, let me tell you something about the health centre. We have 5 GPs here, general practitioners. We also have a practice nurse who looks after minor injuries. She can also administer some treatments. We also have a chiropodist. That's a foot specialist. She's private, which means you have to pay for the service, unless you're over 65. If you want to see a doctor, you have to make an appointment first. Please call our main switchboard number on 0207 923 8100. To book an appointment at either our main practice or one of our branch surgeries. You can also email for an appointment on londonfieldsmedical@nhs.net. Urgent cases are seen on the day. If your condition is non-urgent, you can expect to see a GP within 2 working days, though you may have to wait longer if you want to see a particular GP. If it's an emergency, you'd better come straight here to the centre. One of the doctors can usually see you. or you can go to the emergency department at the hospital in town. If you are very sick, you can ask for a home visit as well. On Friday afternoons, we have an open surgery, which means you can come along and just wait to see a doctor. But you may have to wait for several hours. So it's much better to make an appointment and come at the specified time. Usually, when you see a doctor, you'll be given a prescription for medicine which you need to take. Or you can choose to go to a pharmacist in a chemist's shop. If the doctor decides that you will need the medication for a long time, you will be given a repeat prescription form. This allows you to get a further supply without seeing the doctor again. You simply leave the repeat form here a few days before you need it. Then you pick up the medication at the chemist's. Oh, you may wonder how much this all costs. Well, there is no charge for seeing a doctor. You can make an appointment any time to see one of our doctors, and it will not cost you anything for the consultation. However, you need to pay for the prescription, and the cost varies with the medicine, but it's usually just a few pounds. Nevertheless, in some situations, such as pregnancy, the prescription is then free. All right. Do you have any other questions? That is the end of section 2. You will have half a minute to check your answers. You will hear a director introduce the company to new employees. As you listen, answer questions 11 to 20. First, you will have some time to look at questions 11 to 13. As you listen, answer questions 11 to 13. Section 2. Hello everybody, and welcome to Parkson. I truly hope that you will enjoy working here, and indeed that some of you may take the opportunity to join our permanent staff. Now, my purpose this morning is to give you a short overview of Parkson and a few pointers about working here. Then I'll hand over to Julia, Head of Human Resources, to begin the training. Right. Now we've seen quite a mixed history in sales recently at Parkson. In 2005, sales climbed at an exciting rate. But then every company in the retailing industry suffered in 2007 as the global economy weakened and consumer confidence eroded. Parkson was no exception. Even with the significant amount of energy and newness we infused into our business, our financial results were softer than we had originally anticipated going into the year. There were, however, some important positive outcomes, not the least of which is that Parkson outperformed most of its primary competitors in the crucial fourth quarter of 2009. We're delighted to see that sales have recovered to rise again in 2010, so the future looks bright. This indicates to us that our strategic priorities are on track, and it gives us confidence that we will continue to compete successfully when the economy bounces back. As a company, we have to watch and be proactive about where these sales are coming from. All of you here will be allocated to different departments, but you may be interested to know where your area stands in relationship to others. Parkson was traditionally basically an apparel retailer, and apparel remains an important part of our business. But over recent years, we've seen that reduce as furniture and home appliances have both grown, leaving us equally balanced on all fronts at the present time. This is a situation we'd be pleased to maintain, although the general increase in home appliances spending is predicted to affect all major players in our sector. Well, that's us. What about you, as temporary staff? Where do you fit in? Maintaining a happy and consistent workforce is going to need to be the primary aim. Failure to do so will result in an organization being short quality people, which will spell its ultimate demise, and Parkson is no exception. Last year, we recruited temporary staff into every department, and this year we've done that again, actually increasing the numbers, and we expect to take on an even higher proportion in 2011. So, employees are the most valuable asset that a company has, and you'll be playing an important part in our success. Before the talk goes on, look at questions 14 to 20. Now listen to the continued talk and answer questions 14 to 20 by completing the notes. We regard the Parkson approach to the retail business as something special. Our mission statement, the guiding idea behind everything we do, is the drive to differentiate, and is phrased, pursuing ways to be more creative and distinctive in meeting customer needs. And this belief applies to every customer and every purchase, however large or small. Importantly, the core strategy for Parkson has not changed. Our decisions are guided by the company's 4 priorities: compelling and distinctive assortments, simplified pricing, improving the shopping experience, and creative marketing that builds our brands and drives traffic. These priorities have resulted in Parkson's successful emergence as a national retailer, and they are more relevant than ever moving forward. Clearly, Parkson is distinctly different from other major retailers. Parkson embraces customers and provides an experience that transcends ordinary shopping. So, as an employee, you should keep customers informed. Let them know about magical special events, the Parkson Thanksgiving Day Parade, Halloween fireworks, celebrity appearances, cooking demonstrations, and holiday traditions ranging from the arrival of Santa Claus to tree lightings and animated window displays. To keep yourself up to date about these and all the other aspects of the company, please look carefully through the newsletter that we publish each month, okay? Right, just a few last things, and then I'll hand over. I think you were all asked for details of your certificates when you filled in your initial application form. Can you make sure that you submit them to the Human Resources Office the day after tomorrow? There's a pile of information brochures on the front desk, and I'd like you to take one each, and please make sure you read them carefully when you get home tonight. It contains lots of useful facts and advice which will help you to fit in the company quickly. Will you also pick up your security pass this afternoon from the office on the 6th floor? as you will need it to get in tomorrow. Without it, I'm afraid you can't go anywhere, so please don't lose it. Oh, and don't forget you'll need it to obtain your staff discount when you make any purchases. Okay, that really is it from me, so now, Julia, if you'd like to. That is the end of section 2. You will have half a minute to check your answers.